recovery is huge, especially in our job. A lot of guys don't recover. We'll get pummeled for 48 hours, and then you might take a half a day off, and then you're back into life.
Because if we smoke, you're accelerating aging. If you drink alcohol, you're accelerating those aging markers. And here's the cool part, you can reverse it. So even if you've not been doing your best right now, it's a great time to reevaluate what your priorities are and then focus and do something you can change it.
Welcome. This is part of a 3-part podcast shot previously. I sit down with a couple of guys I'm really proud I got the chance to talk to. I learned a lot from Jose Maresma and Paramedic Lieutenant Breen. Both come with extensive history and credentials in exercise physiology, nutrition, life coaching, and just overall holistic performance. I got a lot from it. I learned a lot, and I hope the same will be true for you. So sit back and enjoy. We talked about sleep, super important. We talked about diet. We talked about exercise. Talk to me a little bit about recovery. I know that was a broad topic that we brought up last time, but we're talking about recovery, and I think it was in relation to exercise, and you had mentioned it. Just as important as it is to, I guess, perform at a high level, it's also important to be able to
recover. Yeah, recovery is huge, especially in our job. A lot of guys don't recover. We'll get pummeled for 48 hours, and then you might take a half a day off, and then you're back into life. A lot of guys have a second job and work out 7 days a week, and you will do more for your body to take an active recovery day than to continue to work out aggressively.
Yeah, agreed.
Especially long term.
Yeah, the fittest any athlete is about 2 weeks after season. It's because they've stopped beating themselves up and they're taking a little recovery time. But we can do that on a micro level, like every day recover. If you think of stress brings you down, recovery lets you come back up.
Yeah.
And if you give yourself too little recovery, then this is what happens. You're going into burnout or
you're going to
injury.
trend yourself down,
And you need to make sure you have enough so you come up, that you at least stay at baseline, or that you're growing, you're getting better. Yeah. And so recovery looks like food, sleep, stretching, walking, things that feed you, like, reading, things that you enjoy, those kind of things.
So it isn't 3 fingers of a fine tequila.
Yeah. I mean, it could be one moment, but no, that's going to beat you up in some way, right? The alcohol is going to be harder on your body. And I'm not saying you can't have that. I love my bourbon. Had a bourbon last night, and I enjoyed it. I had one. I know it disrupts my sleep. I had it earlier, so it wouldn't disrupt my sleep, right? But I didn't overdo it or anything. Right. And I still felt it this morning. I felt that I had had the alcohol, but I did it because I enjoyed it and I was having a nice meal.
Well, culturally, I'm just bringing that up because sometimes and I've been part of that myself, where we're recovering, we're chilling out, right?
Yeah.
So
chilling and recovery may not be the same thing always, right?
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Recovery, or think of it as an athlete,
it's more
right?
of a
We talked about
thing.
being a tactical athlete. Make sure you get sleep, cold and heat therapy. We've talked a little bit about I do the cold plunge thing. That's a form of recovery. Even though it's a stressor, it actually brings down inflammation, brings down hypersensitivity in the nervous system. It improves mood, all those things. So
recovery is a conscious, deliberate thing.
It is a deliberate
thing. It's different than chilling. Okay. So
and it's it's like prehab and post. You got to warm up. You got to actually recover afterwards. Give your body time to repair itself from the stress that you put it under.
Okay. That's a good point. I'm glad we brought that up. So we hit some of the 3 big ones. Now, AJ, I've been waiting on this for a while. TRT.
Okay.
So, because we're programming these guys, right? And you're helping me out. So you talked to me about diet. You talked to me about exercise.
Okay.
Jose got me on the right track with my sleep hygiene.
Yeah.
But now,
sleep is, I can't stress enough
how
important sleep is.
Okay.
I really can't. In this journey, hormone recovery, hormone therapy, sleep is probably the most important tool.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, let's say someone has a legitimate imbalance.
Okay.
They go get their labs and they're all over the place.
And they've tried.
They've done all the things.
I beg most people, change your diet. You're going to hate it. Stop drinking alcohol.
Stop.
Alcohol is just destroy. I would say for 60 days, if you're really trying to get your hormones in balance, stop drinking alcohol for 60 days.
Yeah.
Because all of our hormones take weeks to adjust, right? It's not like this instant gratification that we're used to.
And that's a very big point.
Yeah.
Right? The body's constantly adjusting.
Constantly
And it
adjusting.
can take a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So stop drinking for a couple of months to get your true
Alcohol
levels, right?
destroys your body's ability to make testosterone.
Yes.
Destroys it. Not to mention it destroys the production of dopamine and serotonin and melatonin, and which is then
Disrupts
messes
your sleep. It's one of the
so then you're not
worst
making
sleep
growth
disruptors,
hormone.
yeah.
I mean, it's a negative cascade of events.
So if I did all these things, the chances are
There's a high probability, John, that if you took the time, you could potentially rebalance your hormone cascade system without ever having to supplement it.
I love it.
Ever. And that's what I beg most guys that come to me.
And this is the voice of experience. You talked
Yeah.
last week how you feel like you disrupted your hormone
Oh,
balance
man, I
through
messed it up young.
stuff that you were doing,
Yeah.
right? So listen
Yeah.
to that. The experience
Yeah.
is very valuable.
I was running red lights and doing whatever I wanted to with my body.
I know what you're talking about.
And I'm paying for it now.
All right, so
Okay.
but tell me, so how does it work? You know, testosterone. I know what it is, but
Yeah.
for our viewers, why is it important?
Testosterone, especially for males, it not only like physically is important for our body because we have androgen receptors everywhere, and those androgen receptors are what keep lean muscle mass on and body fat off. But testosterone also plays a vital role in neurological function. Like when you're low T, your body, and actually testosterone will convert to estradiol, and estradiol is like one of your main neurotransmitters in your brain as a male, which then positively changes serotonin and dopamine and melatonin. So if you're low on testosterone, your neurological function is off. You can have foggy brain, you can have mood disruptions, you can have poor sleep, and then poor sleep is just that cascade that you can't. If you don't fix your sleep, you will just continue to fall apart. Like sleep, I cannot stress enough. Sleep is so important. And then testosterone, those are really important. Testosterone plays such a huge role in male health. A healthy testosterone level lowers your risk of prostate cancer, testicular cancer, blood clotting, cardiovascular disease. But there's also the other side of it. If you supplement testosterone and you play that dangerous game,
You mean over supplement?
You can increase your probability of prostate cancer, testicular cancer, pulmonary embolism, cardiovascular disease, MIs. Like, you really have to be careful when you're supplementing a hormone.
Yeah.
There's a lot of positive results, but negative ramifications as well. So you really should learn what you're doing to your body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Big time.
huge. Just think of it this way. All those chemicals are the agents in your body that push the buttons for life
Yeah.
and for optimizing life. If they're out of whack, then you're going to have some kind of a decline.
Yeah.
And so think of anything that you consume, whether it's a thought, a relationship, food, a supplement, sleep, exercise is going to have a biological effect downstream. That's intentional living, right? Is that what you do matters. I shared a study with the cadets that was just published a month ago in the Journal of Aging. And they wanted to see, you can measure genetic aging now. You can measure your cells through something called telomeres, and you can see if your body's older than your years or if it's younger. And so they took two groups, and one group did nothing. The other group had a lifestyle intervention. What they had them do was eat a nutritious diet that was focused on animal-based protein, eggs, liver, low carbohydrate. So they went low carbohydrate. They had them walk every day 30 minutes. They had them do relaxation breathing twice a day for 20 minutes. And they had them go outside and then focus on their sleep, so that they were trying to get 7 hours of sleep. In 6 weeks, the group that did nothing, they measured their age at the end as compared to the beginning of the study, no change. The group that did all that, they on average were 3.25 years younger genetically.
In 6 weeks.
In 6 weeks through their behavior. That's called epigenetics. Epigenetics is the study of, we all have genes. They all express differently on a day-to-day basis, but they express based on the information we give them, which is our food, our stress, the toxic chemicals that are around, our relationships, our mental state. those actually affect how our genes at a very primal level, how they're responding. And those genes are what are telling your hormones to produce and this to happen and that to happen. So what we do matters, and it all matters.
Yeah, big time.
Sorry to wrap that
No,
up.
I love it.
But I love that study because that's how powerful it is. Literally reversed aging at a genetic level. Because if we smoke, you're accelerating aging. If you drink alcohol, you're accelerating those aging markers. And here's the cool part. You can reverse it. So even if you've not been doing your best right now, it's a great time to reevaluate what your priorities are and then focus and do something. You can change it.
Yeah.
But I've talked to guys before that have started supplementing.
Yeah.
And the first 2 weeks, they go, man, I feel great.
And then?
Everything is improved.
Okay.
My sex life.
Sure.
I got energy. I'm working out. And I feel motivated. And eventually, they hit some kind of wall.
Okay.
Right? So, and this is kind of what I'm speaking to about longevity, which is what you brought up last time. That I think, and I've never used TRT. I've never supplemented before, but I know the guys in the fire service that have. Yeah. And always there's kind of like this pattern of everything's improved, feel great, losing fat, whatever, and maybe not doing the other things that you talked about, and eventually they kind of plateau.
Yeah, you're gonna eventually, and I think you'd hit a plateau even if you were doing everything right. As far like the hormone supplementation is only going to do so much for you. We have to remember, and it's just, Western medicine just has it beat into our heads that a pill or a supplement or a shot is going to fix everything, and it doesn't. And so TRT is only going to work for so long. You're only going to feel that high and then your body's going to level off or find its homeostasis. And then it's
what if I just do more?
Well, then, I mean...
Now you're dependent.
You're dependent.
I mean, you laugh, right? But this is exactly what guys are doing.
It is. It is. And hormone supplementation is a dangerous game in the fact that even if you do the right amount, you're more than likely going to end up having to use that. I know after 4 years of supplementation, almost 5, I will never come off of testosterone therapy.
So you think you'll be...
No, I know.
You know.
I will use testosterone the rest of my life.
Now, is that because you don't think that you can produce it naturally?
I've tried twice to come off of it. Studied my blood work 3 months, 6 months, 9 months after. I personally will have to use it the rest of my life. Now, again, that might have been because of what I did to myself
maybe
early on with the crazy hormone disruption in my early 20s.
Yeah.
From my bodybuilding.
Is that going to be true for everybody? Is everybody?
No. There are natural, safe ways to use, and it's going to sound like bodybuilding or weightlifting, but cycle. You can cycle on and off of testosterone.
Yeah.
You can. There's healthy ways to do it. How to dose it and incrementally increase, and then you'll hit where your body feels healthy, and then you need to incrementally decrease while monitoring your counter hormones. This is what a bunch of people don't do. And I feel like there's a disservice to the individuals that want, because there's a lot of physicians that don't talk about how to monitor your counter hormones or even how to naturally counter.
That's why you need to see the right clinician. You really need the right person because a lot of them jump into this because it's quick money.
It makes money, yeah.
And you need somebody who's a real healer.
Yeah. So because let's say a guy wants to go supplement and I'm going to go look up a doctor.
Yeah.
What should I expect from him?
If you find
I went one time, they didn't even get labs. She just said, "Hey, I got pellets. You interested?"
Yeah, you got to be careful. You got to be careful. I would definitely be wary of anybody that you go into the office and you say, "I'm tired." And my energy level, my libido, and their automatic answer is TRT.
Okay, yeah.
Be like, hold on.
So that's not.
I don't think that's the healthy
what
thing.
What should be the proper response? What is the proper response?
In my opinion, it's okay. Let's look at.
Your experience.
In my experience, let's look at your nutrition.
Okay, this is what the doc should be asking me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be like, hey, you know what? Do me a favor. In the next 2 weeks, I want you to write down everything you eat.
Okay.
Don't change your diet. Just write down anything you put into your body. Write it down. And then in 2 weeks, we're going to meet again. And we're going to look at what you're putting into your body first and foremost.
Okay. What about labs?
Labs should be drawn that day. And then you should draw labs.
And what profile? What kind of profiles should
Well, they can do a basic endocrine lab draw, but I would see if your physician could do an in-depth endocrine lab draw.
So endocrine and metabolic, you want to know what's going on in
yeah.
inflammatory. So a good doc will do that. I worked for a few years with Dr. Wayne Kwong here locally in town. He's an excellent Stanford trained physician who does 5 things, and one of them is testosterone replacement.
Yeah.
The reason I worked with him is because he didn't want to get everyone on testosterone. He would have them come see me instead, and we get their diet straight and stress down and all that stuff first.
Right.
He wanted to try that first before he just went ahead and started getting them into the pellets and so forth. And he would draw labs, and he was paying attention. He would come to me, Jose, I think this guy is a better candidate. This doesn't seem organic. He's out of whack. He's a really stressed out business guy or a firefighter. He sees a lot of firefighters. He sees a lot of police officers and military guys. He goes, let's try to get that straight first, and then let's see what happens to his blood chemistry, and then maybe, then maybe it's a little less that he's going to offer you. He's not trying to hit you with the hammer, right? This is a more precise kind of medicine, and that's what you've been doing, is really trying to dial in the precision of the medicine.
For me, yeah, because I know that I'm going to be on it for my whole life. And so I really focused in on, you'll have physicians that will want you to take the testosterone and then take an aromatase inhibitor or an estrogen blocker. And I think those are you're playing a dangerous game with both of those, because then you're putting a synthetic chemical into your body, telling your body to stop producing something.
Yes.
That never goes well.
No.
It's in the long term, it's never going to.
Well, isn't testosterone, but isn't supplementing doing that?
So supplementing is doing it if you don't need it. If you need it, if your levels are at an unhealthy area and you've done everything you can naturally and you cannot bring your testosterone up, or you can't bring your estrogen down, you do probably need some sort of supplemental help now.
Yeah, there's a biological testosterone deficiency, which is it's like thyroid for some people. Yeah,
it's hypogonadism is usually the issue, and that can be caused by genetic issues, or it can be caused from overuse, meaning you supplemented wrong at some point in your life, which is probably what I did, and my testicles stopped producing testosterone because I was at such a peak for so long that they atrophied. And when they atrophy for too long, they'll stop producing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So
cause and effect for everything.
Cause and effect. Yeah, that's the point I wanted to make.
Yeah, for everything.
Cause and effect. So, because right now it's so available, right?
It's everywhere, and it's the hot thing to do right now.
It's a hot thing to do right
Males,
now.
if you're 25 to 75 and you feel tired,
you have low T.
cool, that's 99% of America.
Yeah.
Put this supplement into your body.
Right.
Don't ask questions, just do it.
And you'll feel great for a little while.
You will feel great for you put a dose of testosterone into your body intramuscularly once a week, you're going to feel fantastic for about a year. And then your body's going to regulate. And your estrogen, your progesterone, your estradiol are going to be through the roof, which then increases your chances of prostate. That's the problem. Prostate cancer, cardiac issues.
What about
MIs.
people with coronary artery disease already?
You got to really risk versus benefit. You always have to weigh risk versus benefit. Especially because when you start to supplement testosterone, a lot of people don't understand. Testosterone is converted by an enzyme that makes DHT as well, which is dihydrotestosterone. So when you inject testosterone, I'm not just like injecting testosterone and that floats around and does its thing, it's fine. It converts some of that into DHT. Now, DHT is 5 times more potent than testosterone, but it also is what causes when DHT gets too high, and you see high amounts of DHT, especially in TRT users, because there's no regulatory hormone going, we're not regulating properly because I'm supplementing it. DHT is what causes advanced aging in young men. So people who use testosterone replacement therapy, and they're 25 years old, and all of a sudden they're going bald, and they've got an enlarged prostate, and they potentially start having blood clotting issues. And that's because your DHT, which is a androgen, but it's an androgen that has to be kept in check, or you end up aging your body physiologically.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of people don't tell you that.
No.
You learn about it.
You want balance. You want the right amount is the right amount.
Yeah.
It's like more isn't always better.
No.
More isn't always
yeah.
better.
So,
That's
that's one of my biggest issues with TRT is your normal hormone levels 350 to 1100, all the way until I think it's 45 or 50, the age 45 or 50 for men. Where they found that arbitrary number, I don't know. That's such a large range.
It's a range, but a lot of stuff is in range. Like
You're
were
right.
talking about, it's very individual. Same
It
with
is.
thyroid.
It is.
I always say know your numbers early.
Yeah.
That way, as you age, you can see as they're changing.
Right.
And then you can, with your doctor,
And it's great to have a
understand that.
metabolic labs drawn. And so
Yeah.
you can figure out what your T3 and T4 are, which those are the thyroid hormones that are specifically responsible for metabolic rate.
Yeah, and if you're
Are you high?
25,
You
get
low?
those numbers.
Yeah.
And then know them. They're in your record, and now you can, I feel off, they can compare 'em.
Right.
So for somebody considering TRT,
Yes.
the proper steps would be find a physician.
Find
You don't
a-
want to do this on your own.
I would
You don't want to buy a vial from your buddy and start injecting.
I would
Never.
recommend you don't do that.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't-
First of all,
100%.
quality control.
Don't
Quality control.
Do it.
Don't
Right.
do it.
You're
Yeah.
playing with fire.
Yeah.
I mean,
A lot of people are playing with fire.
Yeah.
Don't
so
do it.
I would say don't do that, and then find a physician, a knowledgeable, in tune, grounded physician, years of
An
experience.
endocrinologist specifically, or just
urologist, endo,
Yeah.
something like that. Somebody that's gotten training
Yes.
Okay.
outside of it. That because any doctor can prescribe testosterone.
Yep.
They're not all trained to
And
prescribe testosterone.
Most of the physicians that are prescribing testosterone are basing it off of purely your free testosterone levels,
Yeah.
which can be misleading.
right.
Because free testosterone doesn't mean bioavailable testosterone. Because estrogen binds to your free testosterone.
Yes.
And so do we know
You
how
can't
much?
use it.
Right. So I could have my free testosterone could be
Through the roof.
Through the 1,000.
but my bioavailable could be very low because
you-
your
and you see
estrogen
that.
levels are super high.
Yeah, you see that
Yeah.
in a lot of people that have lifestyle stuff. Their estrogen levels
'Cause
are
their
higher.
estrogen-
They're eating
yeah.
shitty food, alcohol.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So your
Sleep.
your free T is like 800.
So I'm injecting like crazy, but I don't feel the effects.
your estrogen
But
is,
when I get my numbers, like you're at 1,000, like I don't feel like I'm at 1,000.
your estrogen could probably be, and that's where with my story, that's where I was. Is my free T was already low. It was 205 or 210, something astronomically low. But my estrogen was like almost 100, which for males should be in a range between 25 and 35.
25.
So my estrogen was like through the roof.
Right.
I had an endocrine issue,
Yeah.
for sure. But find a physician. Find a physician that's willing to sit down and look at your lifestyle, reevaluate your lifestyle, give yourself time. It does take 30, 60, 90 days to reset your endocrine system, your metabolism. Be intentional with what you're doing. Draw labs at the very beginning, and in 90 days, draw labs again. And really, really figure out, is what I'm doing working?